Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, in Council Chambers, Sparta Township Municipal Building, 65 Main Street, Sparta, New Jersey. The regular meeting is now opened at 7:26 p.m. All council meetings are now live streamed and can be viewed at the following link, youtube.com/SpartaTWP/streams. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and the press on January 7th, 2026, by delivering to the press and posting on the township website a copy of the notice. Madam Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Councilman Scott.
Here.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Here.
Councilman Clark.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester.
Here.
Mayor Blumetti.
Here. And would you all please join me in a salute to our flag? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we begin our time together tonight, I would just like to offer a brief reminder that we're all here because we care deeply about Sparta. We want to keep it a special place, the special place that it is. We belong to one small community. We're all neighbors here. I respectfully ask that we, all of us, myself, my colleagues on the dais, and you, the public, just strive to listen to one another and to be respectful as we interact tonight. Thank you for your consideration. It's a pleasure for our first item on the agenda is a proclamation for Women's History Month. So I'm going to read it and then we'll present it. I believe we have people here from the Junior Women's Club. Excellent. Good. All three of you. Excellent. Thank you. Whereas throughout our nation's history, women of every background have shaped our communities and country through their leadership, creativity, perseverance, and service, often without recognition. And whereas women have long driven progress in the economic, cultural, civic, and social life of the United States, contributing substantially across every profession and every home. And whereas volunteers across the country have historically been, and continue to be, powered by the dedication and compassion of women who invest their time and energy to strengthen charitable, educational, and cultural institutions. And whereas women have answered the call to serve with courage in our armed forces, contributing to the security and defense of the United States. And whereas women have led and propelled transformative movements by advancing voting rights, civil rights, labor protections, equity, and justice, helping to build a more fair and inclusive society for all. And whereas the achievements, sacrifices, and ongoing contributions of women continue to shape our nation's story and enrich our communities, including here in the Township of Sparta. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township Council of the Township of Sparta does hereby proclaim March as Women's History Month and encourages all residents to celebrate, learn from, and honor the countless contributions women have made and continue to make in our nation and in our lives. So I'd like to welcome up, I believe, Mandy Major, Mary Fisher, and Michelle Pilecki. Actually, go on up.
Photobomb it.
I certainly can. That's okay.
Here, so.
Margie, yeah, okay. It's either you're in or out, but you're not, okay, you're good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you again for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
This is our file or my?
Okay, let's move on to minutes. We have a number of minutes tonight to approve. The first one is a regular meeting minutes, and then we have 5 from the executive session meeting minutes, all from last year. 2 preliminary comments is, one is there are 2 minutes that I will be abstaining from, and it's not because I disagree or found any problem with them. I'll blame it on the power outage. I had left the last hour of this afternoon to review my minutes, and then our power went out right up until I was leaving, so I will just abstain for 2. Okay, we'll start with the regular meeting minutes from the reorg meeting on January 6th, 2026. May I have a motion, please, to approve the January 6th, 2026 reorganization meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll abstain from that one. Okay, next we have 5 different executive meeting minutes. Deputy Mayor Sylvester will abstain from voting on these because they were all due to meetings that occurred before he was up here with us on the council. May I have a motion to approve the March 11th, 2025 executive meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Okay, those minutes have been approved. Next is the executive meeting minutes from May 27th, 2025. May I have a motion to approve the May 27th, 2025 executive meeting minutes as presented?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, no abstains. May I have a motion to approve the June 17th, 2025 executive meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those meeting minutes for June 17th have been approved. May I have a motion to approve the July 8th, 2025 executive meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The July 8th, 2025 meeting minutes have been presented. And finally, may I have a motion to approve the August 12th, 2025 executive meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
Margie? Motion?
moved.
Okay. Second, please.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll abstain from that one as well. Those meeting minutes have been approved. Okay. Town Manager Zepp, would you please present your manager's report?
Sure thing. Good evening, everyone, and just want to give a quick update on that power outage. Power's been restored to all but 12 customers as of 6:15 tonight. So hopefully your lights are on when you get home there. Good evening, Mayor and council members and all Sparta residents joining us in person or watching from home. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please take notice that the Town Hall column lights will be lit up in recognition of the following. March 8th through the 14th will be lit up in green for National Girl Scout Week. March 15th, it'll be in teal for Long COVID Awareness Day. The Sparta Township Environmental Commission has launched a new Facebook page, Sparta Township Environmental Commission. Follow us to stay informed about upcoming events, announcements, educational webinars, and useful resources about our local climate and environment. Stay connected and learn more about how we can all help protect and preserve our community. Some announcements from our departments. The senior bus trip to Wind Creek Casino Outlets, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on Thursday, April 16th still has seats open, so please register if you're interested. The St. Patrick's Day lunch held for the seniors on this last Thursday, March 5th, was enjoyed by many as the event sold out. This event was supported by funds received from the County of Sussex. The recreation staff held the Puzzle Palooza program also on March 5th, which was a full house, with the winning team finishing just under an hour. Day camp at Camp Sacagawea is open for registration on March 3rd. Spots are filling up quickly. Families are encouraged to register as soon as possible to secure their preferred weeks. The camp runs from 6 weeks from June 29th through August 7th and is open to children entering 1st through 8th grades this September. All registration and brochure details are online on the Township Recreation webpage. Spring is just around the corner, and our park staff are hard at work preparing the turf and grass fields for the upcoming spring sports seasons. They are also getting park bathrooms ready for use. Please remember that all fields remain closed until staff determines they are safe and ready for public enjoyment. Our Public Works team is also busy with seasonal cleanup following recent snow and heavy rain events. Their work includes removing fallen trees, natural debris, and litter from the roadways, inspecting berms and checking siltation ponds and known catch basin problem spots. Thank you to everyone who attended or viewed our budget workshop this past Saturday. The session provided valuable information and helpful insight into the full process of preparing our municipal budget. We are currently awaiting the annual financial statement from our auditor. Once received, we remain optimistic about introducing the 2026 municipal budget on March 24th. This concludes my report. Please stay warm and safe. Chief McCarrick will now present his portion of the report.
Thank you, Manager Zepp. Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council. A few updates from the Police Department. I want to talk to you about Operation Goal Zero. Operation Goal Zero in New Jersey is a high-visibility 2026 statewide traffic enforcement initiative aimed at eliminating roadway fatalities and serious injuries. Spearheaded by law enforcement agencies, it targets dangerous behaviors like speeding, distracted driving, and seatbelt violations through increased police presence, notably during high-risk times. This initiative is supported by the New Jersey State Chiefs of Police Association. Today, from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., our department participated in the Goal Zero campaign with heavy motor vehicle violations enforcement. During this time, our officers conducted 31 motor vehicle stops and issued 15 summonses in high crash areas on Route 15 and Route 181. With the seasons changing and the weather warming up, we want everyone to enjoy outdoor activities. You will see many individuals out walking, running, riding bikes on our roadways. We want to remind everybody to be extra vigilant while operating their motor vehicles and be aware that more people will be out on the roadways. Our officers will continue to show a presence amongst our township and enforce any violations. As a reminder, if you would like to report a traffic complaint, you could do so by calling our main number, 973-729-6121, extension 0, or submitting it through an online portal on the township website, spartanj.com, under the police department. Last week, the police department held its annual full department meeting. And during this meeting, we reflected on the accomplishments of 2025 and also look forward to our vision of 2026. Additionally, we celebrated departmental awards for our 2025 Top Cop and Top Prop. Animal Control Officer Don Critchlaw was voted by his peers as the 2025 Top Prop, which is for the non-sworn personnel employees of the year. His peers described him as an outstanding service to community in our department, always a positive attitude, extremely positive, patient, compassion, skills, always happy with a smile on his face. And if we all know Don, that's exactly how he is. Very dependable, always figures out a way, consistently goes above and beyond the expectation of his roles. He handles challenges in unpredictable situations, volunteers his time, always lending a helping hand, well-liked and well-respected amongst the county. Seeing him always seems to put a smile on my face, and most importantly, he loves his job, and that man certainly does. We're lucky to have him, so congratulations to Don Critchlaw. Corporal Greg Krauholtz and Detective Matt Fletcher were awarded together the 2025 Top Cop Award, which was voted on by their peers. Detective Fletcher was described by his peers as dedication and excellence, takes time to teach his coworkers, completed numerous investigations, answers the call of the department with professionalism, hard work and determination, always goes above and beyond, humble, not afraid to put in the work, looking out for others, assisting wherever he can, and he puts his heart and soul into the cases. He most certainly does. And he was also, as I remind you, awarded the Sussex County Detective of the Year for 2025. Corporal C.J. Grauholtz, his peer describes him as very knowledgeable, always willing to lend a hand. He cares about the department, creates a helpful and extremely positive and humorous atmosphere, motivates officers, has a vast knowledge of commercial motor vehicle enforcement, extremely vital part of the department, dedicated, loyal, dependable. He cares about everyone in the department as if they were his family, always there when you need him, wealth of knowledge, voice of reason for younger officers, and always willing to assist in critical incidents to make sure the job gets done correctly. Last award was I awarded dispatcher Paulette Willie with a 2025 Chiefs Combination Award. Dispatcher Willie was recognized as an individual who consistently puts forth those positive contributions to our department, the community, and most importantly, to her fellow coworkers through efforts not only behind the desk, but beyond the desk. So congratulations to Paul Willie and to Detective Pletcher and Corporal Grauholtz, and again, Don Critchlaw. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Town Manager. Chief, congratulations to those recognized for their dedication and their achievements and their positive impact on all those around them. I heard that constantly in some of your comments there, that impact and that positive, hard to describe feeling that they bring to those who interact with them.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to accept the manager's report?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Manager's report has been accepted. Now we will move on to our first open to the public segment. This is for items that are on the agenda. So items on the agenda only, including the resolutions, but with the exception of the two ordinances, which each have their own public hearing tonight, and they all have each have their own public comment segment for those ordinances. So again, this is items on the agenda, including resolutions. The second comment period later on will be for anything not on the agenda.
Can
Okay.
you clarify 2602, is that the time, or is there another time?
That's later. Yeah. That'll have its own hearing.
Jenny Derrick, staff into Sparta. Just a couple of questions on the resolutions. Do you want me to just go through them, Dean? And, okay. Year-to-date, do we have a amount that we've paid out for the veterans' tax rebate, the look back? Do we have a number on that so far? 8.6, is this self-sustaining, or does it cost Sparta? Will there be a cost to Sparta to have the fire marshal be in Hardiston? 8.7, the deputy mayor sounds like fun. I'm just curious if it's common or if there is a need, or what is sparking this resolution. And 8.8, are there any strings attached to this grant? Are there any encumbrances to the town for the ERI? Looks like a good thing, but we know that sometimes that isn't always the case, that there are some requirements that come along with the money. Thank you. Oh, one other thing. Jean Montemorano was acknowledged. She received an award for administrative excellence from her association.
Thank you, Jenny. So I'll start with the low-hanging fruit, the easy one, the meatball that you gave me there. So 8.7, I love doing weddings, and I've done one already. This is just in case I'm unavailable, either for that date that the bride and groom would like, or in case there's an emergency. We can't do a last-minute switch. It has to be done in the public meeting in advance. So Deputy Mayor has offered to be a backup and just in case. So that's the easy one. I'll take a shot at 8.6 about the, 8.8 about the grant, the Environmental Commission to do the ERI. My understanding from the environmental chairman is that there's no matching portion of that, so there are no strings attached. If we get the grant, we can use it to move forward to do an ERI, but there's no
I mean,
matching
are there
portion.
other requirements? I'm sorry, the clock, Roxanne. Are there other requirements that come along with with accepting this money? In other words, do we then have to cordon off anything? We have to, no? Okay, thank you. Sorry.
And I'll just add to that, I made a call to the program directly today to confirm all that. There was no additional cost, expenses to the town, or any attachments as you referenced.
Okay. And then I think for your other two questions, I'll ask Town Manager that if you have answers tonight for those, the veterans. tax-
Yeah, Jenny emailed me, and I would have had that information ready for you right now. So I don't have that information, but I'll get it, and I'll let you know on 8.1. That is the year-to-date veteran amount spent for the tax exemption for veterans for the look back. And On 8.6, there is no cost. We're a shared service. The reason that you're going to see both the ordinance, I'm not jumping ahead, there's an ordinance introduction and this resolution, it is to be compliant with the state under the shared service agreement with Hardiston. So we had to adjust the action dates, the actually applicable dates, and that's what this is for. Your question about expense, there is no expense. I was actually, if you run these things real well and you're the host, you can do real well with them. We weren't in a position to run them anymore. We just didn't have the personnel. There's a lot of reasons. So instead, we're using the shared service with Hardiston. There is no cost for us using it with Hardiston. They get the fees when people need fire prevention work done. They collect them directly, and that's how they're compensated. So when I did the budget this year, it was zeros under fire prevention.
Great, thank you, Town Manager. Anyone else from the public for items on the agenda tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Next on the agenda, expenditures. Deputy Mayor Sylvester, would you please read the expenditures for March 10th, 2026?
Yes, the expenditures for March 10th, 2026 totaled $555,643.50.
May I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving expenditures for March 10th, 2026, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Expenditures have been approved. Okay, next we're moving on to item 6, which is an introduction of an ordinance. As you may recall, introduction happens typically 2 weeks before the hearing. Introduction, there is no public comment period. There's not even discussion amongst the council. This is pretty much to get it out there and to give people a heads up in advance notice of the hearing. So I'll read the title and then we'll move on to a vote for this one. Ordinance 2604, an ordinance of the Township of Sparta, Sussex County, New Jersey, amending and repealing portions of Chapter 16 of the Township Code entitled Fire Protection and Prevention. May I have a motion to introduce 2604, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Scott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester.
Yes.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. Ordinance 2604 has been introduced. Now we'll move on to the first hearing tonight of an ordinance. This is item number 7. Ordinance is 2602. An ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Sparta, Sussex County, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 18 entitled Comprehensive Land Management Code to prohibit detention, correction, or other carceral facilities within all zones throughout the Township of Sparta. Before we move on to the public comment, I would like to acknowledge the council is in receipt of the Planning Board's Master Plan Consistency Review, which is required by law, and the Planning Board has found that this ordinance is consistent with the master plan.
Thank you. So the council has acknowledged the report and accepts the report, and as you noted, it is consistent with the master plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open up to the public for comments on ordinance 2602.
Rob Otto, Sparta resident. So I'm speaking on behalf, just a few remarks from the Environmental Commission. Thank you for putting this together. I don't think we've put together a memo for you guys yet, but I just want to point out that the charge that the Environmental Commission for Sparta has are to conduct research into the use and possible use of open land areas of the township, to study and make recommendations concerning open space preservation, water resources management, air pollution control, solid waste management, noise control, soil and landscape protection, environmental appearance, marine resources, and protection of flora and fauna. And then kind of skipping ahead, serving as liaison between local conservation needs and regional, state, and federal agencies ministering to those needs as authorized by the town council, and to do such other acts and things as are reasonably related to and designed to carry out the objectives of the goals and objectives of the commission. So I want to just point out that I believe the average wastewater production per bed or per individual in New Jersey would be 70 to 100 gallons per day. So if you had like a 1,500 bed facility, we're talking about, I think, in excess of 150,000 gallons per day of wastewater generated. Many of you know that 70% of New Jersey relies on water from the New Jersey Highlands. There are obviously unresolved concerns about, water quality management plan for a proposed facility as illustrated in 2602. We also acknowledge that the federal government may overstep state and local guidance, but kind of wanted to, I think, point out that the Federal Clean Water Act, CWA of 1972, regulates discharge of pollutants into waters of the United States. And then on a state level, NJAC 714A point source discharges are regulated, as well as NJAC 79B protect New Jersey water and classifications, as well as the associated wetlands protections, federal section 404. So kind of just want to lay that out there. And, obviously, if and when we had to wrestle with this, I would say we would ask that this governing body consider that while we all recognize that the federal government may choose to implement something which we may or may not agree with, that the protections of our local waters flow from the Clean Air and Clean Water Acts, which are federal acts. So we are consistent with those on a local level. So we would expect that the governing body and township attorney would vigorously defend the local community's rights to those protections. And I will just let someone else speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Otto.
Thank you.
Any other public comments on ordinance 2602?
Hi, Sally Larson, Mountain Spring Drive, Sparta. I want to encourage you to pass this ordinance. And by the way, I'm wearing the right shirt for today. Because of elect women.
Very nice.
But I really think we need to make sure this doesn't happen here. It's not what we like in this community. And as Rob just said, water, wastewater, and I think water supply and fire, I don't think we have the infrastructure to support anything like this. And I don't think we want to build it. So I would encourage you to pass this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Larson.
Thank you.
Any other public comment on 2602 at this time? Okay, seeing none, I will bring it back to the dais. I will start at my far left with Councilman Scott, and we'll just work our way down. If there's any comments, if none, that's fine too, and we'll start.
I too support this ordinance prohibiting detention centers in the township of Sparta. I've seen the impact of detention centers in other towns, and I certainly don't want that impact to happen here. That's all my comment.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Yes. I just want to just share a few points, but to start off, no, I do not want, nor will I support any detention centers in Sparta Township. So get that on the record. I do want to make the public aware that when we pass ordinances like this, it costs the town money. So I have an obligation to bring the financial aspects aside. There's filing fees, there's a minimum $3,000, and depending upon the complexity of the ordinance, with this one wasn't as complex, there's additional legal fees. So when we pass any ordinance, whether it's this or something else, there's fees associated with it. So this one makes good sense. The people wanted this. This is where politics and people kind of collide. And as I did in the past, and I will continue to do in the future, I always will support what the people of Sparta wanted. Saying that, I just wanted to ask Mr. Dash, is by passing this, is there any legal exposure, whether it's likely or unlikely that ever happens, but can we get pulled into any future legal litigation matters in the event this had to get called? Can we be sued by passing it, and/or would it be challenged and then therefore pulled into a lawsuit should it happen?
Yes, I think, Deputy Mayor, as you recognize, with any ordinance or resolution, there is always the risk of a legal challenge. There's always the risk of a lawsuit that is inherent in the operation of a township, in the operation of a business. So the short answer is yes. That risk is always balanced with the benefits of passing the ordinance versus what that risk may be.
Okay. Well, thanks for the clarification. I thought it was important to get that on the record. Doesn't change my opinion, but I did want everybody in the public and also watching it on the live feed that there is a potential risk. I think it's a low probability, but it's there. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor. Short and sweet, I fully support this. As I said in the past, especially recently, regardless of what your national politics are, I personally, and I would find it probably hard to find many people that would be in favor of something like this in our town, given the nature of our town. We'll just leave it at that. Councilwoman?
I also firmly support this. It has nothing to do with, number one, we cannot support it in our town. We don't need it in our town. And with the rural structure, we don't want it at all. It has nothing to do with any of our officers or anybody that does a fantastic job for us. So that's all.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Councilman Clark, any comments?
I would just say that, again, this is not partisan. This is practical. As Rob kind of eloquently told us about the intensity of this type of use. So I can give you an example. The one that's being proposed in Roxbury is between 65,000 and 165,000 gallons a day. The previous operator had an agreement with the town when it was just a simple storage facility of 12,000 gallons. So that gives you an idea of how much water these type of facilities use. They needed only 12,000 to run it as a storage facility. Once it becomes a detention facility, we're looking at 5 to 16 times greater. So that intensity is just astronomical. The next thing is it's too much traffic. You can find out how much detention centers generate by simply going to the International Traffic Engineers Trip Generation, and it's basically between 2.9 to 7.27 trips per 1,000 square feet. So something like a 470,000 square foot detention center, that would generate between 1,365 trips to 3,400 trips. Again, that intensity is just way too much. Another thing, and I think our planning board kind of alluded to it when they found the consistency, was what I call the crowding out effect. And what that means is if you have something of this scale, what that would do is, and our planning board said this, we have a master plan goal of preventing development patterns that place significant and irreversible development pressure on commercial and industrially zoned parcels that might otherwise remain candidates for open space protection or low-intensity uses. So when you get a big use like this, it's going to crowd out the ability of that zone to get other more practical, more helpful uses for Sparta. And I commend our planning board for picking up on that. The final thing is private prisons are a big, big business. It's a $4 billion industry right now. And though we see today it's the federal government that's one of the big players, As we know, presidents come and go, administrations come and go. And if one of these were to be in Sparta and no longer operated by the federal government, I am sure that a private prison, which would be probably either Core Civic or the GEO Group, which last year combined made $4 billion in private prisons, they'd be more than happy to take over. And so this is looking forward. I think it's our job as council to see a problematic use and stop it and do whatever you can before it happens. And so I think when we kind of weigh there are some administrative costs with this ordinance. There are the cost of actually having this facility in Sparta would far, far outweigh whatever kind of administrative de minimis costs we're incurring as a result of this. And so I think, is it a silver bullet? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But I think we need to stop problematic uses before they arrive as an application before our planning board, because as this township knows all too well, at that point, it's often too late. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments from the dais?
Mayor, I think we need a motion, a second.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, yeah. Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2602?
I move we adopt ordinance 2602.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay, may I have a roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester,
Yes.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. So ordinance 2602 has passed. Okay, moving on to the next ordinance hearing for tonight, 2603. An ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Sparta in the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 18, Comprehensive Land Management Code, including Section 18-8.4, Residential Development Fees for Low and Moderate Income Housing, and Section 18-8.5, Incentive Zoning and Mandatory Set-asides, and replacing them in their entirety, and repeals Appendix A-18.4, Residential Development Fees for Low and Moderate Income Housing of Appendix A, Fee Schedule, and replace it in its entirety. I would like to also start by saying acknowledging that the council is in receipt of the planning board's master plan consistency review, and the planning board has found this ordinance consistent with the master plan. At this point, I'd like to turn over to Attorney Dash for a comment or two about
Sure.
context.
First, Councilman Scott and Councilwoman Murphy, as you did during the introduction, if you wouldn't mind recusing yourself due to the same conflict that we had in the first time. You can stay seated there and just recuse yourself from any discussion. Thank you. With that, I can provide a brief introduction to this ordinance. This is an administrative ordinance that every town, 400-plus towns in the state of New Jersey, have to, by law, pass and enact. The ordinance, it amends the township's current zoning ordinances by updating the affordable housing requirements based upon statewide regulations, and then it goes on to incorporate regulatory requirements as required by the New Jersey Administrative Code. The ordinance goes on to then also amend certain portions of the development fee ordinance that is required, again, also by the state of New Jersey. We are tracking the language as required by the state's development fee ordinance. And finally, the ordinance creates certain set-asides for units that result in 5 or more new family or single-family attached dwelling units that produces affordable housing at a set-aside rate of 20%. So those are a three-pronged basis of this, what I would call an administrative ordinance. It also, as the title indicates, it repeals certain sections of the current existing ordinance to remove an overlay zone that already provides for certain affordable housing. For those who have been paying attention to the development of this ordinance, it is running parallel to, but is distinct from, the housing element and fair share plan that the township last summer and the planning board had adopted. There was a process for that. There have been, that process has been followed by the township, and by the most recent order of the court, by April 30th of this year, we will have a new or amended fair housing element fair share plan. But this particular ordinance does not govern any specific affordable housing projects. It does, by its terms, amend the fee requirements, the set-aside requirements, and the existing set-asides that are in the township ordinance. That's good.
Thank you, Attorney Dash.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, I will open up for public comment on 2603.
Hi, David Fortunato, Sparta. The existing ordinance, section 18-8.5, L1B, has a 2-acre restriction in it so that the rules apply to properties greater than 2 acres in size. Proposed 2603 does not have that restriction. Is there a reason? Was that required by the state? Because it seems to be a particular carve-out that would allow certain properties now to fall under this ordinance where previously they didn't.
Yeah, I understand the question. I think I understand the intent of the question. But please be assured that this specific ordinance, by removing that section 18-8.5, is not looking to license or regulate any specific or authorize any specific development or property within the township. It goes beyond any specific project. The removal of that requirement was done in conjunction with the state mandated requirements. In addition to the repeal was done in order to tie the municipality's sewer requirements with respect to the housing element fair share plan considerations.
I wasn't putting the two of them together.
Okay.
It's a simple question about why is it in the existing one and not in the current one? Was that required by the state or was that drafting done here?
The repeal of the 18-8-5?
Only the 2-acre limitation. Why is that not in the current one?
Well, the township did not find that that was necessary. That 2-acre requirement was part of the prior incentives that were provided in conjunction with that ordinance. When the township decided to repeal it, it no longer wanted to have any of those incentives, including incentives or requirements of the 2-acre requirement.
So I would suggest to the council that they consider putting that back in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Jenny Derricks, Tap into Sparta. Just piggybacking off Mr. Fortunato's comments. The incentives that were previously noted in section 8.5 that include allowance for underground parking, 4 stories, 10-foot setbacks, 65% impervious coverage, all of those goodies, including the restriction on 2.5 acres, all of those goodies were there previously, and I'm just asking for you to confirm this. All of those incentives were previously added to our land use code to incentivize, just as the name implies, to incentivize a builder to come in and provide low-income, moderate-income housing in any project that they were going to be doing in one of the TC zones. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so now we're removing those because the requirement for fair share housing extends to all zones in Sparta. And so we no longer need to incentivize a builder, a developer, to build low-income, moderate-income housing. They are required, by virtue of the fact that they're building more than 5 acres, they are now going to be required, 5 units, they're now going to be required to include low-income housing regardless of where it happens. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so while it seems like it may be making it easier because we're not continuing to have the restriction of the 2.5 acres, is it accurate to say that, in fact, we're taking away some of the egregious or the offensive incentives that were previously allowed. That's going to go to something like the Fluss Holdings apartment building behind Burger King with 4 stories, 10-foot setbacks, 65% impervious coverage. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So it's more of a safety for Sparta than it is giving something away.
Yes.
To that end, does that preclude, so if a builder is coming in to develop a piece of property, regardless of where, and it is going to fall within the, where they're going to have to give us fair share units, will they still be required to come before the appropriate zone, whether it, the appropriate board, whether it's planning or zoning, to get the approval? So regardless, so they don't get a pass just because they're giving us low-income units to help with our fair share number. They still have to go through the entire application process. Is that correct?
Right. So yes, they still need to come before the planning board for site plan approval. They will come before the site plan planning board, but the initial number of certain challenges that they may have negotiated with the township will be allowed as a threshold matter. The remainder of their application will have to go before the planning
So
board.
you're speaking specifically about properties that have been identified who have presented challenges to our builder's number, to our fair share housing plan. So that's a separate, but anything other than that,
Sure.
and even those
Yes.
will still have to go through the full application process. They'd even have to, if they wanted to say, put something on Main Street or wherever residential housing is not allowed, even though we're saying anywhere in Sparta, any zone, they might even have to come for a D variance if it's a use issue, if they're asking to put residential in a zone where there's no residential. Is that correct?
That's a good summary of that.
Thank you. And one of the main restrictions for any of this, any housing, is water. I think you mentioned it in part of your presentation, but our water, the availability of water and sewer is a driver or a restrictor on where properties can be developed, regardless of whether they're fair share or not fair share. Is that
Correct.
accurate?
Correct.
Thank you.
That's good, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Rob out of Sparta again. So based on, I know, well, based on what Jenny just was connecting some dots, so I was going to save this for the open session, but I just want to kind of put a pin also in something else. It sounds like you're backfilling general standards that make sense if you get an applicant that goes through the process for mediation and has to proceed. So I would just ask, I think I asked over a year ago, that there seems to be an error in the zoning map for Sparta regarding C1H. And the reason this is related is because you just said on record that this somewhat related to certain properties that have been identified. So from 18-4.21, the purpose is designed to provide for community commercial use with preservation of the historic value of the commercial zone. The goal of historic preservation of the district is intended to accomplish the following. And I just want to read the one, which is accomplish the protection, enhancement, and perpetuation of the Lake Mohawk Plaza area, which has been designated as a historic landmark, and other structures and resources within the central business district which reflect the elements of the architectural history of the township. So as we talk about like the master plan, which I'm no longer on, maybe Dean, you could push this forward, but I think I had brought this up again over a year ago. I think there's a very simple error on the zoning map. It seems like it happened at some point around or before 1999, where the White Deer Historic District C1H is now not labeled C1H, it's TCC. And when we talk about passing ordinances, because I envision this as just a corrective ordinance to restate that that's C1H is C1H as this language still exists within the code, the administrative costs, I think, would be negligible, as we've heard, a couple $1,000s, and they would help with some of the small businesses and tenants within that historic zone that we are trying, we all recognize the value of White Deer Plaza. It would help to just clarify the guidance that exists in here if we could just say, this is C1H. So I know this is not a direct 2603 ordinance. It's just general guidance for affordable housing. But at the time that I brought this up, I know we were in the midst of that fourth round housing and fair share element. Presumably we're past that. So I would just ask this governing body to consider revisiting it. The 100-year anniversary of Lake Mohawk is 2027. And there's simple design standards. And the other reason for it too, and I do know that Lake Mohawk may be working on their own kind of revision, as a homeowners association providing an ordinance to you guys. But since it already exists, it seems like just a ministerial fix. And I see the C1, TCC, all of the village zones seem to flow from that most restrictive guidance in C1H. So I think it would be advantageous to just simply restore that in advance of the 100-year, gain clarity for all tenants, property owners, applicants within that zone, and then if further changes are determined necessary, then they're done. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with comments related to 2603?
Hi, Beth Broderick, Sparta. Is this ordinance a general ordinance, or is it regarding a specific property? There's been a lot of discussion as to whether it's town in general, or is it regarding a particular property?
This ordinance does not govern any specific affordable housing projects. It is general to the entire township.
So it's not about a specific application or anything like that?
Correct.
Okay, question 2. Rob was just talking about Lake Mohawk. Because of the plaza, is the town and Lake Mohawk working together? Have you guys talked about this, or is there some kind of collaboration because of the?
Beth, this is related to not this ordinance? then
Yes,
I'd
this
like to table it
ordinance,
for later
because,
on.
yeah, no, this ordinance, because I know that Lake Mohawk was at the planning board meeting with several questions. One of the trustees got up and actually asked specifically about this ordinance.
Well, this ordinance is general, as the attorney just mentioned, is not related to any property or any
Right.
project.
But it was this ordinance came up and there was a big push. And there was a
That was
lot-
there. We're telling you the
So-
facts now. This is not related to any specific project. This is a
Okay,
general.
but let me finish, please. What I'm asking
It's related to
is.
2603.
Okay, and have you, I know that tied with the master plan and the ordinance and the overlap and everything, and a big push for open communication, have you talked with Lake Mohawk because of the plaza and the zoning and all of that other stuff? I just want to make sure, and I know that there was a big discussion previously about Lake Mohawk and Sparta and ordinances. I just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page and we're not.
All I'll say is that we're in constant or frequent communication with them about that and other things. And I won't comment on affordable housing with Lake Mohawk or the community or any objectors or litigation or anything like that. So
Okay, I wasn't
we are
asking-
Yeah, we're in communication with them on a regular basis.
Okay, that's all I was asking. I wasn't getting at any kind of litigation or any that. I know you won't talk about it on the record, so thanks.
Thank you, Beth. Any other public comment on 2603? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back up to the dais. Is there any council comments or discussion on 2603? I'll start here, and if not, that's fine. We'll just keep moving on.
Just a question I have. I looked through this and did not see design standards, and that's right. This does not do a design standard. And so if there were an ordinance passed, I think Mr. Otto brought in the C1H, which would obviously have design standards in it. By passing this, that does not preclude the township from later passing a zoning ordinance like C1H, which will likely have design standards. It would not be preempted by what we're doing tonight. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So again, we're still free to pass ordinances that deal with design standards, things like that. This in no way affects that.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, good clarification. Councilwoman, anything?
She's recused from
You
this
can't,
discussion.
sorry. I did not ask that question. Okay, I have
Yeah,
no
I'll-
further comments on this.
None as well, I'm fine.
Okay. All right, with that being said, we have 3 eligible council members to vote on this. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2603?
I move we adopt ordinance 2603 as read.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester,
Yes.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. 2603 has been passed. Okay, moving on to resolutions. Would anyone on the dais like any of the resolutions carved out from bulk approval? I will note too, there was a last-minute addition of Resolution 8-9. I'm not sure if it's in the packets. I'll just read it for now. So 8-9, it's a one-day ABC social affairs permit for Our Lady of the Lake. So that being said, are there any resolutions that anyone would like carved out from bulk approval? If not, I'll proceed with asking for 8-1 to 8-9.
I have a question about 8-7.
Okay, we'll carve that out.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Yeah, let's carve out 8-7.
Okay.
I'm interested to carve it out as well. Maybe, I want to hear all about this.
All right. Okay, so I will then ask for a motion to approve resolutions 8-1 through 8-6, 8-8, and 8-9. May I have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve those, carving out 8-7.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving resolutions 8-1 to 8-6 and 8-8 and 8-9, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Actually, we don't have an 8-9, do we? It's-
Yes.
Oh, that's the additional one.
Yeah,
the
that's the
additional.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yes, okay. Any opposed? Any abstains?
I know, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, those resolutions
Patty's Day.
have passed. Okay, so 8-7. Let's go with a motion in a second, and then we'll discuss it. So may I have a motion to approve 8-7?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion and questions. I'll give you a cheat sheet, too. I have my vowels all written out. I can hand them off to you if you want to use them. Okay.
No, I think this is a good idea. I think that we ran into this when I was a deputy mayor. I think the mayor at the time was not able to do it, and we had to do some kind of paperwork. This question is simply my own selfish self-interest, because some of the most fun you can have in this job is actually doing weddings. And so, am I right that even though you may be you're not allowed to marry folks as an ex-mayor until your term is up, until you're no longer in the office? So it's not like they could, I'm just volunteering. If Mike can't do it and Dean can't do it, I'm more than happy to do it. But I understand I can't do it.
While you're on council.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted, so.
Can I be being an ex-deputy mayor?
Because you're still on council. And for the same reason, I can't do it. But they are a lot of fun, and Mike, you will have a lot of fun doing this. So.
It's limited to mayor, but right now deputy mayor because we're authorizing him. Once he's off council, he could do it.
The statute speaks to the current mayor or the deputy mayor.
Okay. Bummer.
Nothing precludes either one of you from getting your own certification outside of that, correct? And doing it?
I think that's right.
Well, I do have that as I am an internet pastor, so I have married friends of mine. So,
So we're in competition, is what you're
yeah,
saying?
this will be a burgeoning business if I ever stop doing this.
We just wanted to give the township choices, and, we're competing we're in high demand right now, so just having a little fun with it. This was looking forward to backing you up
All right.
if we can.
I'm one of those so far, so.
I'd like to amend this 8-7 to allow ex-deputy mayors.
Because I didn't get to.
Is that a problem?
Actually, it's not permitted, I don't think. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, only-
it's not allowed.
It's not allowed.
No.
Well, that's why we're in charge here.
All right, with that being said, May I have we have a motion and a second. So all in favor of approving 8-7, please say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstains? Okay, 8-7. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. This is the second open to the public segment. Again, please state your name for the record. You're limited to 5 minutes maximum, and this is for items not on the agenda.
Carol Sorelli. Eileen Maffey, both of Sparta. We're here to ask you tonight,
If you could just be close so that
Closer.
people watching at home can hear you.
we are here tonight, we're members of the Sparta Women's Club, and we volunteer at Ginny's House in Newton. And Ginny's House, as you probably know, is a child advocacy center. And April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And Ginny's will be doing their pinwheels for prevention, and they do a display in Newton. And we just heard that they're going to be doing one in Andover also. So we thought, well, why not come to you and present and ask you to purchase one of the kits or more of the kits to display. It's a sign and 10 pinwheels. And that would be on display in Sparta, somewhere in a high-trafficked area. And the cost is $35. So we were hoping,
And we have a picture.
we have a picture if you needed to see it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, let's talk afterwards. I mean, it sounds like a wonderful idea, and I'm familiar with that cause. It's tremendous. So let's connect afterwards, either with the clerk or we can do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we usually do a proclamation for
Okay.
this in April.
Okay. So we'll do a proclamation also in April. Great. Thank you for being here.
David Fortunato again. My question concerns the HEFSP. I'm not sure if you can comment on the court's order of March 3rd. Are you allowed to comment on that?
You can ask a question.
I'll ask the question.
Depending on your question, we can decide whether we can comment.
Okay, so in the order, the judge ordered, with respect to Jersey investors, that the conditional settlement be approved and that the HEFSP be included, be amended to include that project. The order then went on to state that the conditional settlement to rezone 5 West was also approved, but the court did not say that the HEFSP should be amended to include that project. You interpret that to mean that the council is not obligated to amend the HEFSP to include the 5 West property?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm afraid I can't give you a definitive answer.
Okay.
I understand the question.
Okay, so then my other point with regard to the HEFSP in 5 West Shore, the owner of the property has just undergone a significant change of circumstances, which is likely to result in that property being seized by the federal government. So I think the council would be ill-advised to include that in the HEFSP. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rob Otto, Sparta again. Environmental Commission doesn't have a liaison yet, do we?
In a few minutes.
Thank you.
Good timing.
Jenny Derrick, stepping to Sparta. Mr. Zepp, how are we doing with the landfill? When last I asked this question, you said we were close to you had identified a person in Trenton who was going to be accepting the land swap. Do we have any further movement on that?
Said that on Saturday.
On
right?
Saturday, yeah.
So we are getting closer. I don't have anything new since Saturday.
Okay.
But we have identified an individual who is now evaluating all the ruling by the Wetland Mitigation Council accepting our proposal. We've submitted now the parcels. They're being evaluated, and I'm closer to it. We're thinking that they're looking for title search and some other conditions. And once they're fulfilled, I'll be approaching the council for resolution on the donation. And our environmental scientist, Laura Newgard, she'll give a question and answer. She'll be here for assisting on the process and answering a lot of your questions, I'm
Great.
sure.
Can I give you one in advance? and that is what protections will we have down the road to make sure that these lots are not either developed, built on, fracked, or in any other way have anything done to them other than leave them as pristine.
I've already given those to Laura, so she knows that
Thank you.
she's going to be answering those.
Okay, and then one last question for me for tonight. The snow is mostly gone.
Next week,
I'm referring to,
I know what you're referring to, the West Mountain Road.
correct.
Right.
Do we have a date for testing?
Survey is scheduled for next week, now that the snow is cleared. And they'll be resuming all the agreed to action items that the engineer had presented before. But I spoke to the engineer earlier today, and he told me that the schedule is for next week for the surveyor to start, and we'll start seeing more activity in addressing it.
It's somewhat troubling looking through all the documentation that I've received through my Oprah requests about the discussions that went back and forth between township employees and township professionals and the owner of that property, the Cofrancesco Family Farm folks. Even though there had been a complaint filed way back in '24, correspondence in '25 indicates, oh, we just talked about this yesterday, or thank you for thank you for meeting with me and to discuss the expansion of your paddocked area or something like totally off line from what was happening when we know it was a truck parking facility. We know that for sure, and yet it seems to have been ignored. And I keep asking, and I keep getting told we're working on it. There's no implications for anybody who knew about it, that they didn't do anything about it. So now you're saying a survey is scheduled. Is the survey, what's the purpose of the survey? Is that to do soil sampling? Is that to?
I don't know if I'm in the position to answer what the survey is for. This is what my engineer had advised as an action item. It'll be followed up with the soil sampling. I believe the surveys are also going to be done with a drone. I think it's going to be to measure the impact of the foreign soil that was brought in, but I'm not in a position to answer that.
And is the Delaware Soil Conservation folks, are they going to be involved as well?
I'll have to consult with the engineer on whether, I know that they initially were involved, but now that they brought in an LSRP and they have a procedure of evaluating the soils and all, I'd have to defer to my engineer.
The Cofrancesco Family Farms are the ones that secured the LSRP, not Sparta?
Not sure who secured it. I think my engineer may have done that, but again,
Okay.
those
And then-
details,
I have one more
give it to me ahead of
question.
time, Jenny, and I'm happy to give you more accurate information.
Sure. Is this survey going to include water testing? So that's my last question.
I recall he said that it would, depending on the depth of the soil and all.
It would be nice for the town to have selected the LSRP.
They may have, Councilman. I don't know for sure. That's why if I had the questions ahead of time, I'd have the information for the folks right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi,
Beth.
Beth. Do we have a liaison to the planning board yet?
Oh, there has been since the beginning.
No, I mean, no, there's a vacancy on the planning board.
Oh, the
It's-
class 2 spot you're
Yeah.
talking about. Okay, we're going to address that later on.
Okay, and Mark, Margie, you guys are the liaisons to Lake Mohawk. Do you have a meeting set up with Lake Mohawk as council liaisons?
Working on it.
Yeah, working on that.
Getting
I heard
closer.
it's in the works. Yeah,
We're waiting for them to get back to us.
Okay, thanks.
thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay. Any other comments from the public on items not on the agenda this evening? Okay, seeing none, let's bring it back up to the dais and we'll move on to council liaison updates. We can start, let's start at my far left with Councilman Scott.
Okay, Economic Development Committee met on February 26th at 7 PM, and we had a great meeting. Dan Chiarella, our former mayor, came in and spoke to us about SpartaNet, which is a network that he's been trying to put together of Sparta communities in the United States and in Europe to trade information, trade goods, see if we can put some type of commerce together between our towns and just grow the knowledge of what Sparta means. The second thing I want to talk about was we have had some favorable changes to the Planning and Zoning Office. We're trying to make it more user-friendly. Number three, we are developing a pro-business website for the main Sparta Township website. We got some quotes from third-party vendors, and today we had a detailed discussion with Civic Plus, who is the vendor that provides our website now. And, I was on the phone with these people for like 45 minutes, and they were just tremendous. And are going to help us set it up and get a new page and get a business development page that can be useful to the community. And hopefully, when someone is looking to come to Sparta, promote Sparta and make it easier for them to get to the finish line or, move into town. And so that's what we're doing. We're moving ahead with Civic Plus right now, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to talk to the Sparta IT people tomorrow. Thanks.
Great. Thanks. Deputy Mayor, can you use your microphone?
Yes. All right. So I'm excited about as I also sit with Mark on the BDC committee, is to get that website up. It was interesting. If I heard a stat, Mark, during that meeting, it was over there's 400 registered businesses in Sparta, which was shocking to me. And that could be very small to medium to large size businesses, but it was interesting that I think on our current website, we only had 52 identified. So there's the need to support, the effort to redo this website, and I appreciate Councilman Scott's efforts of taking the lead on that. So as it relates to the planning board updates, the one update is obviously the Class 2 position. There was no other further follow-up needed.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Master Plan Subcommittee held its second meeting of the year last night. Some of you may have been there on February 18th at the Planning Board meeting where there was a presentation on the circulation plan element. It was a snapshot, a status of the circulation plan element, where it is now. And it's going to progress further. It'll be refined further. We're going to be working more on that. Over the next 5 or 6 months, you should see more presentations at the Planning Board meetings. The first one will be the climate change vulnerability assessment, which is a required element. Then there'll be the land use element. And then after that would be the comprehensive public presentation of the overall master plan. So expect that to occur over the next 5 to 6 months at the Planning Board. I received an update on the Environmental Commission from Chairman Neil Sauerwein, so I'll go through that. The Earth Day event is Saturday, April 25th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. here at Town Hall. It'll be both indoors and outdoors. There will be numerous exhibitors, including the recently added Ridge and Valley Conservancy, which specializes in land preservation in that region. Also, the Sussex County Beekeepers Association and the Sparta High School Ecology Club. The Ecology Club will actually demonstrate a biodiesel produced in its classes and will utilize that fuel actually to operate a rented popcorn machine. So you don't want to miss that. And this shows how you can provide a sustainable food demonstration and use sustainable resources to do that. They've also been talking about proposing an ordinance regarding data centers in town. So coming soon will be a recommended ordinance for consideration by the governing body. Draft is ready, and the Environmental Commission is also checking with the New Jersey Highlands Council for any guidance. In terms of forest management activities on Sparta Mountain, the Environmental Commission discussed the comment period for the New Jersey Fish and Wildlife review of forest management activities on Sparta Mountain. That comment period remains open until March 31st. All members were encouraged to submit their comments during that period, and the Environmental Commission is also discussing the idea of possibly a collective comment on behalf of perhaps the commission or the township. The new Facebook page was already mentioned in the manager's report. The prior Sustainable Jersey grant for the trail signs has now been closed out. And as you saw on tonight's agenda, there was a resolution supporting application for a 2026 grant. And again, that's to develop a natural resource inventory. Environmental Commission member Christine Dunbar organized a community science event on March 4th and 5th to collect salt snapshots from over 60 sites in Sparta and throughout the county. That data will contribute to ongoing research by the Stroud Water Research Center, adding valuable New Jersey data to their regional database. The Environmental Commission is also planning its speaker series for the rest of this year. More to come on that in future announcements about who will be coming to speak at their meetings. And finally, the next Environmental Commission meeting is actually this week. It's Thursday evening, March 12th, right here. So feel free to stop in and join them or watch live stream. And that concludes my liaison updates. Councilwoman?
I don't have any there's been no meetings since our last town council meeting for the, maybe for Rev 250 or for the Seniors Commission. So that's all I have, and nor the Lake Mohawk liaison.
Thank you. And Councilman Clark?
Sure. So although the film committee did not meet since the last meeting, I did attend an event at Sussex County Community College and also with Barnlight Studios. It was called Cultivating Creators. It was a Q&A that they put on with various folks from the industry, including the president of the New Jersey State Film Commission, John Crowley. And there he was able to share with us some of the kind of economic statistics involving this endeavor. So right now, New Jersey is likely to almost surpass New York with film production in the state. So we're kind of neck and neck with New York. California obviously is up top. And then we'll surpass probably Atlanta or Georgia. So it's still probably economic impact. We're looking at close to $1 billion industry right now in New Jersey. And there were people from the industry there, including someone who did all those kind of special effects that you saw in Independence Day and Batman and the Marvel movies. He was there not just to provide a Q&A, but he was also there because they were scouting out various areas for an upcoming production, and they had been in Sparta that day. Obviously, that is still in the works, but again, they were looking at Sparta for a possible film in 2026. And so I attended that. It was very well done and very helpful to the students at Sussex County Community College. I did meet with the Cultural Affairs Committee last week. Again, as I indicated, my hope is to try to grow that, to expand beyond the fantastic summer series that they do. They're in the midst of planning that as we speak. As you know, that's been a staple in Sparta for almost 2 decades now. And there is a lot of work involved in that. It really helped me to go to that to see that, they really scout out original artists. So not just your, Pink Floyd cover band. These are original artists. And so and they really put their heart and soul into it. So they're in the process of figuring out who they are going to be. Part of that's going to be driven by what their budget is going to be. There's questions about the rollover from last year of unspent funds, and we're going to try to clarify that. We do have an additional member who joined, who was not previously there, and we are going, Janelle Leonard, and we're going to kind of figure out what, based on her experience and background, what we could do to expand some of the offerings of the Cultural Affairs Committee. But I will make a pitch that we could use additional members because the members that we do have are plenty busy putting on the summer series and really don't have the bandwidth to take on other projects. So if you're interested in expanding the cultural offerings in Sparta, and this is an opportunity to be creative, to really show an impact, to do something fun for your town, I really encourage you to apply. Next, the Trails Committee has not met yet. We will meet tomorrow, so I don't have any updates with that one. Have not met with Rev 250, and I do have another one. I'm trying to find my notes on it. Just bear with me for a second. School board or liaison, we are due to meet. Deputy Mayor Sylvester and I will hopefully plan that within the next month or so. And with that, I think that's all I have. Those are all my updates.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, let's go on to unfinished and new business. We'll start, actually back, Councilman, if you want to start there. Any unfinished or new business?
Sure. I do want to, so on Saturday, we had our budget meeting, and I will be candid with you. I left that meeting and quite stressed because it was, we have our budget has gone up, and Jim can correct me if I'm wrong, I think by $3 million. And 70% of that $3 million increase is driven by a non-discretionary obligation that we have for the medical expenses for our employees. So that means we don't have any control really over that. And so that $3 million then presented at the time a shortfall of close to $700,000, meaning, and you can't just simply raise taxes or float a bond to come up with that. You have to figure out where can you cut to get that down. And so Jim and all our department heads have had really some difficult conversations about how to cut costs. And when we present the budget, we'll have more on that hopefully next meeting. But I left there thinking, wow, that's, we're asking a heck a lot of our employees, of our departments. And so what can we do as a council? And I understand that, and one of the costs that, we do have some control over is something that we addressed at the end of the session last December. December 20, we had the ordinance to repeal the veteran tax look back. And so we tabled that, but, I would, before I want to ask a question about that before I make a motion to maybe bring that back to the agenda, which is, am I right, Jim, that the repeal would not affect people who are currently veterans and currently getting property tax relief?
Correct.
Okay. And so it would only affect people who may have, who haven't already applied for disability with the VA. It would affect them if they got the disability after we passed the ordinance. They would not get the benefit of the look back. Is that right?
Right, once you pass the ordinance and you have the 20-day stop period.
Okay. But any veteran who is currently getting property tax relief, that ordinance that we floated back in December, it would not affect them.
Correct.
Okay, got you. So I would like to make a motion that for the March 24th meeting, we bring back the ordinance. It was 25, I believe 2520 was the ordinance. So it will be 26 whatever. But I think in light of the budget concerns that we have, I think it's simply probably prudent management to at least bring this up again, particularly when we're asking a lot of sacrifices from our township employees and the services that they provide. So I would move that the March 24th meeting have on the agenda the introduction of the ordinance that is substantially similar to Ordinance 2520, which we introduced at the end of the year. So that's my motion. I just need a second.
I will second. Just for clarification too, that I know we have time to talk about this, but just the question you asked Town Manager Zepp, this does not affect current ongoing elimination of taxes, right? Still, anybody who is not paying taxes now, that will go forward. And anyone new that comes this year, once they qualify, they also won't pay taxes going forward. This is just about that initial look back, right? This is not about disqualifying people from paying no taxes on an ongoing basis, even people that we don't know about yet.
Correct.
That's correct? Okay.
That's a state statute that we don't have any control over, that benefit, so that, it doesn't affect that at all.
Okay, okay.
And the time frame that the look back went from, was it the time the veteran applied to the VA or to our town?
To the VA.
To the VA.
And
So,
it could be as much as 24 months as it's written in our ordinance currently.
right. So once they apply and they get it from the VA, and then they apply to the town, it goes, we will enact, that's when it's enacted. From the time they apply to Sparta, that's the date that their taxes are, they're granted.
Well, if you're asking what the ordinance that was tabled, what it would do is it would eliminate the 24-month look back.
Right.
And what it would do is as soon as our tax assessor looked over the VA paperwork and approved it, from that point forward, the veteran would enjoy the tax exemption.
And us being only one of 2 towns in the state, municipalities that actually have that. That look back, not that I am totally for that look back for anything for our veterans, but it's putting us in a bind right now, and it's not to say that we can't change it in the future. And we're also waiting on the state to pass an ordinance to compensate the municipalities in the future, but they've done nothing about it. It's just sitting there.
Correct.
So we need to do something to get onto the state to help them refund the municipalities for doing this as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question or comments? I'm not trying to get ahead of ourselves, but just at least for tonight's motion, which isn't to pass anything except to say that we're going to put this on the agenda for 2 weeks from now. It'll be introduced, and then in theory, 4 weeks from now, there'll be a hearing on it, and there'll be a discussion, there'll be public comment, there'll be the whole thing. This is just tonight to say, this has enough interest or legs to get it on the agenda 2 weeks from now. Right.
And
Right.
last
But
year,
procedurally, it's going to go through the normal process that it would. So giving the public an opportunity to speak, the veterans, because I know we haven't
yes.
spoken to them as well. So it would go through the sequencing that we're used to.
Correct. It would be an introduction of the ordinance.
Yeah, the
followed
purpose
by
was
a
simply
hearing.
to put it on, so people know that we're,
That
it
we're
doesn't
going-
just pop up on the agenda kind of out of nowhere that, hey, we're moving to, because of its significance, I think that I felt like we needed to notify the public that at least there was an intent to put it on the agenda again. And so they know how that came about, and it's coming about through this motion.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that we spent in 2025 was $275,000 was how much we refunded. So right at this
just look
point in
back.
time, just look back. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman. It's also, it's probably one of the, it's a best practice too, probably to, that, we talked about cost of ordinances. So just instead of having ordinances pop up out of nowhere in advance for someone in new business, it's a good idea to flesh it out a little bit to see, almost like a committee, like a state and federal government, to kind of flesh it out, see if there's enough interest from at least 2 or 3, whatever, just to move it forward so we can have a further analysis. So that's good practice. Okay, so let's vote on Councilman Clark's motion, which is not to approve the ordinance at all. This is to put it on the agenda in 2 weeks to start the process of evaluation for it. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Murphy,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester,
I'm going to abstain, please.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. Okay, so that motion has passed, so we're going to proceed forward with an ordinance, evaluating the ordinance for repealing the look back. Okay. Councilman Clark, you done with new business and unfinished business?
I have 10 other ordinance I have ideas for. No, just kidding. No other unfinished business.
Don't be fooled, that clock's an hour behind. It hasn't been changed, we need a big ladder. Okay, Councilwoman Murphy, any unfinished new business?
No.
Okay. Okay, I have a few this evening, 4 specific motions for appointments or changes to appointments for liaisons. So first, I would like to make a motion to appoint Councilwoman Murphy as the Environmental Commission liaison. Thank you for volunteering again. I appreciate it very, very much, and so does the EC. So may I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Thank you, Margie.
No opposed or abstains. Okay, excellent. So congratulations.
I abstain, Margie.
You are kidding, right? Okay. Okay, second is the Planning Board Class 2 position. So I would like to make a motion to appoint Michael Wallace as the Class 2 Planning Board member for 2026. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
No, is there any discussion?
Any discussion?
Could we just give the public some background about Mr. Wallace?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that I haven't had a chance to speak to Mr. Wallace. And maybe we could table this for a week or 2 weeks.
I think I'd rather move forward with it tonight. It's pretty pressing, Councilman. They're going to be starting getting applications soon, and it's been floated out there for quite a while, so I would like to move forward with this tonight.
Position's been empty for years.
I don't know about years, but it's been for a while, yeah. There's
Years.
even more reason to get somebody in there.
I think the question was just, who is this guy? Sorry to be blunt, but I think if we're going to appoint someone, we should probably let the public know who they are, where they come from, what are their qualifications, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we could. I mean,
At one
would
point,
you like
we
to do
were-
it quick? Yeah,
at one point last year, we were going to have public interviews.
I remember that. It got shot down. That was my idea. It
I
did
know,
not
it's
get
your
enough votes.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, this application was shared with the council probably a month ago at least, and the phone number was on there. I've reached out to everyone, and we've seen each other in meetings, and it's been around for a while that there was a candidate out there. So with all due respect, I think we need to just move forward with this tonight, and we could have a discussion, and Town Manager Zepp, would you like to just, it's very hard to find Class 2 candidates.
Exactly. I mean,
I-
get the
Just to be
context.
clear, I
in.
don't oppose it. I fully support it. I'm just saying that, this is a public position. I feel like the public has a right to know who's going to be their Class 2 rep and the background that person has. That's all.
So as the mayor had indicated, as you all know, the Class 2 is very difficult to fill because it has the requirement of being an employee of the town. And this is a volunteer position. The person's not getting paid to participate. So that's one of the main reasons why it had been open for so long, because employees will work all day doing their job here, and then, they got to come back and sit and do. But I'm actually proud of this individual. Mike Wallace is our construction code official. He heads up the construction department. He's also our electrical inspector, and he's also a Sparta resident. And he's been with us for a while, and I think that the fact that he wants to participate in the process says a lot of positive volumes about him. And I know that a bunch of the council members did have a chance to talk with him, and also I think this is a great move, and I think the board will benefit from it.
thank you.
Thank you.
It has been kind of a cloudy situation with the Class 2 position because we didn't have anybody appointed there taking that position, yet the alternate on the planning board voted voted in the Class 2 position. And I would think that, I'd like to have some assurances that Mr. Wallace is not going to be just elected and then not attend, and then we would have the we would have the alternate voting in that Class 2 position again. It's just not, it's not really the right way to do it.
I would expect anyone that gets appointed that's willing enough to volunteer their time and show a commitment and get appointed by the council and accept it, I would expect them to participate and enthusiastically participate and learn the job and take part in it and give back to the town. We shouldn't have a reason to doubt every person that gets appointed, especially an employee of the township. We're employees. I mean, he's a fellow employee.
I understand.
Yeah, so I mean, if there's an issue down the road, then we can probably have the planning board address that. If there's a attendance
Well,
issue
wouldn't that
or
be
something.
you adjusting it because you're
No.
making the appointment?
No, I'm not making it. I'm making the motion. This is a council decision. It's a vote. We need a vote for this. And this, the planning board.
Council could decide this isn't working out or this is working out.
No, if you're talking about once the person's in the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a person can be removed for cause by a council vote, and they're allowed to have a public hearing about that if they're being removed for cause, and they can defend themselves. The council can't unilaterally just say you're gone, but there has to be cause, and the person has the opportunity, if they want, to have a public session. Yeah, but tonight's vote, I'm just making the motion. Anyone could have made it, but this is to get someone in that spot, so it needs to be voted on by the council. This is not a mayor appointee like the Class 1 is.
Right. What's the term on that position?
Just this year.
Just 1 year?
Annual year.
Just to
Yeah,
put that on the
it's-
record.
Yeah, it's just 2026.
You don't scare them away.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. I think, given his background.
Yeah, he sounds
very, very fortunate to have someone of that,
Yeah.
that background. I think he'll have a lot to offer as anyone who's sat through some of those planning boards. They're very technical, and someone with his technical background, I think he'll provide a very helpful service to both the township and to the planning board. So thank you for your efforts in finding someone of that caliber to do it. And thank you, Mr. Wallace, for serving your community in more ways than you already do.
Well said.
So we need to vote?
Yes, we need to vote. We think we have a motion and a second already. So we will do let's do a roll call vote on the motion for the Class 2 planning board spot, please.
Councilman Scott,
I'd like to talk to him, no.
Councilwoman Murphy,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sylvester,
Yes.
Mayor Blumetti.
Yes. Okay, welcome Mike Wallace to the planning board. I'm sure they're celebrating. Okay. Okay, moving on, the next one is simply a change in a liaison, one of the liaisons for the Lake Mohawk Country Club. So I'm going to make a motion to relieve Councilman Scott, not that he did anything wrong, swap Councilman Scott out of the Lake Mohawk Country Club liaison spot and add Councilman Clark in as one of the two liaisons with Councilwoman Murphy still for Lake Mohawk Country Club. Is that clear? Yeah, it's a swap.
Congratulations.
So may I have a second first?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just because we don't want to be conflicted.
Okay, yes, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I
Thank-
think I will raise the issue that I think that puts now 6 liaisons that I have, so I may be going to the council to say, can you take me off one of them? So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, so just
Thank you.
throwing that out there.
Thank you.
But I'm happy to do it.
Okay, all in favor of the swap, say aye.
Aye.
The opposed or abstained? No. Okay. The fourth one actually addresses the other,
Oh,
one of your
you-
liaison
you-
ones. I have it on for tonight. If
Oh, you do?
Do you want to move
Thank
forward
you.
with it? Okay,
Go for it.
okay. So the last motion is for the Rev 250 committee and the two liaisons right now. This motion is to relieve Councilman Clark of his role as one of the two Rev 250 liaisons. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye,
Okay. That has passed.
so just me.
That is a fantastic committee, and it's in good hands with Margie.
Yeah.
She's really good at it, and so even though
Margie.
she's
Oh, I know,
pretty
it's
busy,
terrific.
but please don't, that's
It's terrific.
simply
And-
just a matter of bandwidth.
Yeah, I understand. And we're always looking for members as well.
You're also looking for money, isn't that correct?
Well, never can hurt.
Maybe we need sponsors, right?
Never
The
can hurt.
town.
Mark, can you just,
Maybe we could use some sponsors, is that correct?
Probably.
Okay.
But I have to talk with the person in charge. I'm just liaison. So yeah, that's a good idea. It's a
Okay,
very
that-
good idea.
that concludes my unfinished and new business for tonight.
Margie, what is the Rev 250? Could you explain what that is?
The Revolution 250, it's celebrating the country's 250th anniversary. And there's, as I mentioned last time, there's an exhibit at the fairgrounds by each of the municipalities. And we had one planned every month. We had the Tavern Talk at Crows, which was terrific, of people dressed in period costume and talking as if they were living at that time and from this area and what was going on at the area, which was terrific. And it's because we were part of Hardiston at the time. We were not Sparta. And we're having it at the Van Kirk Museum. There's the Martha Washington exhibit, and then a woman coming in acting as Martha Washington. We've also got a flag, the flag representation from the different years, was it, that's coming from Trenton. They've got something planned almost every month. We tried to have the reenactment of Washington crossing the Delaware across Lake Mohawk, but the water was too low and we couldn't get the barge in. But that may happen in the fall. You never know. But it's just a celebration of our country and what we in this town being so close to Washington's headquarters as well. And a lot happened up in here.
Right.
And if people have not been to the Van Kirk Museum, you should really go. It's terrific. It really is. And they do a lot of work there. So
Thank
that
you.
is the celebration ongoing, and it will be posted in the town council website for news and agendas.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Mayor Blumetti, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, we did have a meeting of the first meeting of the Sparta Beautification Committee. And so we met actually yesterday. I'm very pleased to announce we have a really solid committee. One, we have someone who helped spearhead what you see in White Deer Plaza, those planners. She's also was on the Board of Trustees for the State Botanical Garden. She is very experienced. We also have a gentleman who handles for, I think, a club in town, all the landscaping, et cetera. So yesterday was simply a get-to-know-you meeting, but also to start thinking about what we want to do. And there's going to be, what became very evident in that meeting is there's going to be synergies between this committee and some other committees that we have, particularly economic development, because a lot of towns do beautification as a way to spur economic development. There's things showing that, you spruce up a place, it drives people in. And we'll have to be working with some of our existing businesses. I know in Branchville, that is a Tree City USA town, whereby the business owners allow the town to plant a tree in their private business area, and they've done really well with that. So we're going to be reaching out to them. But also there's logistical challenges because shocker, flowers need water, and who's going to water them, right? And so we got to figure that out. So ideally we could get help from our township staff, but obviously they're stretched thin as well. So we're trying to figure out what will have the most bang for our logistical buck. So we'll be talking about that, and I hope to bring more information in the coming weeks. But I'm very happy with that committee. I think that could have an immediate kind of tangible impact on Sparta, what you see. I think we're also going to look into improving the signage. As you come into town, those signs have kind of worn out. And I know I think Sussex Tech actually has done signs for some of the HOAs, and they did a really good job. So we're going to look into that about maybe improve some and updating some of the signage, the Welcome to Sparta signs.
I know a lot about that.
Yes, okay. So fantastic, but apologize for not remembering that during my
And Councilman
sounds great.
Clark, if the Business Development Committee needs to maybe link up with the Beautification Committee and talk about how to get the word out and vice versa, and trying to support that and get the word out to the businesses as well.
Yes, because I told them you were working on, I think it's a fantastic idea, trying to get a listing of all the businesses in Sparta. And I think there's some things we can do to reach out to them. I will be attending the Sparta Chamber on March 17th, and I will let them know about the Beautification Committee.
Right.
So again, I look forward to this really getting off the ground. So thank you to all our volunteers who volunteered for that.
Thank you, Councilman. Deputy Mayor Sylvester, any unfinished or new business?
Yes, just want to pick up on what I heard out in the discussion earlier about the C1H. The question was, where was it and if it's going to be reconsidered. When you meet with the Lake Mohawk, can you get an update, maybe get an update from them on their position or their current status of it? Was there something that they wanted to do with it to either support the comments or not? Just to touch base with them that there was a discussion or some comments made on it. So we just wanted to get clarification on it. That was all, more information gathering.
Okay, yeah, I
Right.
think I'll do that and then let everyone know, and then even flag, we could even do it the way we did the veteran appeals, that if it's ready to go, that's maybe something that we could consider putting back on the
Right.
agenda at some point.
I'll add too that the master plan subcommittee is also, one of the elements is historical preservation. So
Okay.
it may just dovetail into that work as well. So
Was it being
see how that goes.
discussed there as well?
Not
Sounds
yet.
like
Not
there-
yet.
It just sounded like I heard today there was a kind of a typo or an error, or it just kind of fell off
No.
the zoning map or whatnot, or there's some
little
history behind it.
different, yeah.
Regardless,
Yeah.
moving forward, just like to try to get some information, clean it up.
Yeah, okay.
Let you all figure it out.
All right, any other new or unfinished business?
Thank you.
Okay,
it.
Councilman Scott, any new or unfinished business? Mark? Yep, any new or unfinished?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that being said, I think it's time to go home. Motion to adjourn,
So move.
second,
Second?
all in favor?